Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In this video, it's not really a lesson per se on creating a painting or background or anything. What I want to do is I want to do a little color mixing demonstration based on the last video that I did. And I was creating a background using blue-green light as one of my darker colors, and the paint for some reason has dried out. It's really grungy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to mix up a color to closely match a premixed color. This is not a pure pigment. There's more than one pigment in here, and how I can tell that, if I turn it over, I can see the pigment that it's PB29, which is ultramarine blue, PG36, which is phthalo green, and PW6, which is white. So if you've been following me, you know that I have core colors in my palette, which includes phthalo green and ultramarine blue and titanium white. So we're just going to mix this up. And I want to put down the easy thing to do would have been just to order more paint. But let me show you how to mix it up. Now, I'm not against, well, yeah, I am. I'm against owning 300 colors. You don't need 300 colors. I have a set palette depending on whether I'm painting warm, cold, pet portraits, people portraits, landscape, depends on what I'm painting. My palette usually is between 10 to 12 colors. This is my professional palette, 10 to 12 colors, and that's all you need. You can mix thousands of colors with that. So, but in saying that, when I'm doing art journaling and stuff like that, it's just so much easier just to grab, let's say, Payne's Gray instead of grabbing my ultramarine blue, grabbing my burnt sienna, mixing. It's just easier to grab that. So we'll do a little bit of a color mix demonstration here. So that's phthalo green on the yellow side, and this is ultramarine blue, which is a blue on the violet side. And we'll need paper towel. Oh, we'll need white. Let's see what happens. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some blue, always a start base, and some green, equal amounts. Mix that up first, equal amounts, and then touch in a bit of white to see the true underlying color. Okay, it's still a bit more blue. That's still too blue. Well, I don't know. It's blue-green. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let's see how far I can go. And then it's just a matter of adjusting the colors. Once you can read a color, then you just have to just adjust it to either make it more green or more blue. The colors really only go one way. Okay, so if your color wheel is like this, and you've got red here, you've got yellow here, you've got blue here, we know that red and blue make violet, and we know that red and yellow make orange, and we know the blue and yellow make green. Doesn't matter what color you have. If we're starting off with a green, green can only go one way. It can be more blue or more yellow. Yellow can only be two things. It can either be more green or more orange, and orange can be more yellow and more red, and red can be more violet, more orange, and then violet can be more blue or more red. So ultramarine blue is blue, that's on the violet side. Phthalo green is green, that's more on the yellow side. You see where I'm going here? So when you start off mixing your colors, if you want something that's more on, let's say for this one here, a bit more blue in it, you would add a bit more blue. If you want it to be a bit more yellow, you would add more yellow. So it just depends on where you want to go with your mixture. And this is actually pretty close. That's pretty close. Look at that. Look at that. So what I'm going to do with this one here, because you see the paper through it, Let me see if I can squeeze that out. It makes the most disgusting noise. There we go. So what do you think? Think that's pretty close? I think it's pretty close. I'm seeing, when I'm looking this green, I'm seeing that it's a little bit, I think it has a bit too much white in it. It's a little bit more opaque. Let's pick up a bit more green. Phthalo green is extremely powerful. But phthalo green, I never get phthalo, well, I always get phthalo colors on myself. Phthalo blue is notorious for that. I'm always, always, always getting phthalo blue on my clothes. Phthalo green is transparent. By adding the white, it makes it more opaque. There we go. So what do you think of that? Okay, I'm seeing now it's getting a little bit too yellow. So it's got a little bit more of the phthalo green. And if I just touch in a bit of the blue, brings it down a little bit. Let's touch a speck of white. Adding white to a dark color is very difficult because sometimes you have to add so much. Here we are. And you can just play. We don't want to get something, like, we're not going to get something exact because the paint companies, they have a formula that they follow with this. Okay. And by being able to know how to mix your own colors, it just makes your artwork more lively because one of, okay, who was it? I believe, I'm trying to think. I don't want to quote the person's name in case I get it wrong. It's one of the master artists that I studied under many years ago, told me that he learned that when you're mixing your colors, every time you bring up a new color onto the palette, always mix up something different. So if I'm creating a tree and I'm painting a tree and I'm painting my tree like this, and then if I want to add something else, just pick up a bit more blue, and then it just adds a bit more shade, a bit more shading, bring that around, and then when I pick up the next color, I would have yellow, but you can pick up a little bit more green, and it just, creates things that are a little bit more random. Now, when everything's not always the same color, it does work great for landscapes because you can really vary the trees. So there you go. So just a quick little demonstration on color mixing. And now what I could do is now I'm not going to be able to replicate that because I don't remember, was it 5 parts this, 1 part this, 2 parts, I don't know, and I don't care. It took me what, plus talking, about 8 minutes to color mix this. I don't use that color very often, so it's not really worth me going out and buying another tube of this. I'll just make up the paint myself. On the flip side, if I was creating a mix, let's say on Payne's Gray, and I am going to create little tutorials like this to show you how to mix up popular colors. Payne's Gray, if I was using Payne's Gray all the time, like every single painting had Payne's Gray, I would buy the bottle because it would take me more time to mix it. It's just easier to have the bottle. So it's up to you how you want to work that. But with art journaling and that, having multiple colors, no big deal. But when I could create my professional portraits, my people portraits, pet portraits, landscapes and that, I prefer sticking with my palette of fixed colors. And back when I first developed that palette, it was called the Art by Nature palette. And it was to this day, it still contains the same colors. I varied the brand in there, but with all the different brands that I view between Weber and M. Graham, Liquitex, My Mary, I'm talking the oils now, and yeah, those for the oils. And I varied the brands a bit based on the quality of the paint. Okay. And then on the acrylics between, I think I added Liquitex into that mixture, which should be there, but with acrylics between Liquitex, again, M. Graham, and Deco Art for sure. So there's a bunch of acrylic brands in there as well. Golden, and Golden specifically for the Golden Opens. So between the acrylic brands, I've altered a little bit on the phthalos because the phthalo color may be different from one brand to another, and on some brands, especially craft paint, it may say phthalo green, but it's not pure phthalo green because you wouldn't be able to make a bottle of phthalo green craft paint using the pure pigment for $1. It's just not possible. Okay, so they probably added other stuff to it. So anyways, so this is just a quick tutorial on to show you how to mix up a color, and I'll create some more tutorials on the common colors to make up, and then you can play with those and experiment it and create your own color mixing journal. All right, so I will see you next time, and until then, stay inspired.